In 1625, a Dutch businessman arrived in what is now Manhattan. He is said to have bought the island from the natives living there for only around $24. This purchase was the beginning of the Dutch colony of New Nederland, with the capital New Amsterdam, which would later become the New York City we know today. But how did this sale come about, and why did the Dutch eventually leave this important city? To understand this, we need to take a step back. The island of Manhattan was originally inhabited by the Lenape, an indigenous people who had inhabited the region for centuries. The Lenape lived in various villages and were known for their advanced agriculture and trade networks. Contact with the Europeans led to a complex exchange of goods, but also to misunderstandings and conflicts that ultimately affected relations. In the 16th century, Spain and Portugal had already divided up large parts of Central and South America. As a result, the other European powers turned their attention to the North American continent at the beginning of the 17th century. Henry Hudson, an explorer in the service of the Dutch East India Company, landed in New York Bay in 1609. The Hudson River, as we know it today, is named after him. Hudson returned to Europe with exciting news. The area was rich in furs, a very valuable commodity. The Dutch immediately recognized the potential and founded the Dutch West India Company in 1621 to colonize the region. They took advantage of the strategically favorable location of the island of Manhattan, which means Island of Many Hills. In 1625, the Dutch businessman Peter Minuit arrived in Manhattan. He was to officially purchase the land from the natives on behalf of the Dutch government and act as the first governor of New Nederland. Legend has it that he exchanged 60 guilders worth of jewelry for the island, equivalent to around $24 in today's currencies. However, historians disagree on the exact value of the purchase, as conversion into modern currencies is difficult. Nevertheless, the purchase is considered a bargain. The colony grew and developed into an important trading center. The city of New Amsterdam, which was founded on the southern tip of Manhattan, flourished particularly due to the fur and tobacco trade. However, the British were very interested in the strategically favorable location of the city. In the summer of 1664, they sent 4 frigates to Manhattan and fired on the Dutch fort. The British strategy involved gaining military superiority quickly and blockading the harbour to force the Dutch to surrender. The Dutch were ill-prepared as they had underestimated the British strategy and had not provided sufficient defence forces. After the successful attack, the British wanted to secure exclusive rights to the colony in the peace treaty. However, the Dutch were not prepared to give up the territory without getting something in return. They did not want financial compensation, but another colony in return. The spice trade was particularly important to them, which is why they were interested in the small island of Run in New Guinea. This island belonged to the Moluccas and offered good opportunities for the spice trade. In the end, both sides accepted the deal, and the Dutch sold New Amsterdam to the British. The British renamed the city New York in honor of the Duke of York. The consequences of the sale were far-reaching. Under British rule, the city continued to grow and developed into an important trading port in the Atlantic. British control led to greater integration into the British Empire, which influenced the economic and political direction of the city in the long term. The handover marked the beginning of a new era in which New York City would continue to develop and become one of the most important cities in the world. The legacy of Dutch rule is still visible in New York today. Places like Brooklyn, originally Brooklyn, Broadway, De Brede Weg, and even Wall Street, which was founded as Waalstraat, still bear Dutch names. That's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video and want to learn more about a rather unknown country in Central Asia, I can recommend my video about Kyrgyzstan. Have fun watching, and ciao!